of base painting on the trees here. As you can see, just have to change the white or retouch up the white. On these I was doing the base with the dark, well, it's hard to see with all the light, but with the dark earth, the paste. So I just wanted to chat with you guys as I'm working, and figured I could do two things at once just to speed up some time. So I apologize, I'm not going to look at the camera too much just because I'm going to pay attention to this, but I am back in studio. I was away for a week, as I mentioned, but I just wanted to let you guys know I was back working on the project. Just doing up these tree bases. I have, not really sure how many I got, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, about 30 bases to do, so quite a few trees for the project. As I said, I am using these battlefront trees to do the project. I like the trees, I like the look of them, and I think they'll suit the project quite well. So I'm just gooping on this white paint here, not being too careful with it just because it's going to basically be the undertone for the snow. So that's what I've been doing for the last few hours here. First I did the paste. I let that dry a little bit, and then basically by the time I got done the last set of trees, I was able to come back in and start gooping on the white paint. The only thing I got left on the trees after this is let it dry, put a little flex paste down on top of the stones, and then I got to come in and do the soft flake snow on the bases themselves. So getting a little paint on here, and it doesn't really matter if I make any mistakes sort of covering, because it's just going to be covered with snow after that anyway, so hopefully you guys can see that. I know the light's a little bright, but so there you go. So I'm just doing that, just gooping it on there, set it aside, and then grab another one. So that's basically what I've been working on this evening. In addition, I did a few more touch-ups on the houses. Went back in and did a little more. Oh, it's really bright, but maybe I can block out some of this light. I'm not sure. There we go. So I did a little bit of snow touch-ups on there, just making sure that it looked nice and wintry. I think I'm finally liking the looks. So as you guys know, I got a bunch more of those to do. That'll be one of the things I do in between the dry times for the trees. And then I'm going to do a little bit of snow basing around the fields. I'm going to do the snow, match up the snow around the trees with the forest flats and kind of blend those in. That'll be with flex paste first. And then I can start actually laying some snow down on some sections. I think, until I decide that I want to do something else and delay the snow, the soft flake snow. Not that I'm denying laying that down, it's just I want to make sure I get everything that needs to go under the snow down first, because once I start laying the snow, unfortunately I won't be able to do much else on top without making it look a little unnatural. So just got to be very careful I don't rush into the snow effect. Basically the snow effect shouldn't take more than a day or two when I get to that, so that's not something I want to rush into, and it's not something I'm really worried about taking a long time. So I've seen lately online a few people, Gunbarrel's been touching up his Volks Grenadiers. I see that British Legion has a contest. I've seen a few other people have been doing videos as of late, Flames of War related, which is awesome. I need to catch up on videos because when I was away this week I didn't really watch any. I caught up a little bit last night, but not too much today. And speaking of Volks Grenadiers, I actually ran the Volks Grenadiers at the tournament that I said I was going to. I was really just looking to go down and have some fun because I hadn't played in a little while. It was my longest break probably from the ETC, which I participated in August, so I really hadn't got any Flames of War in for a few months. I thought running the Volks Grenadiers would be great because that's what I plan to run at the ETC, but I don't have a lot of the models per se for the Volks Grenadiers just yet, because I just kind of decided I was going to run them. So I had a friend down there who was kind enough to lend me pretty much everything I needed to run the Grenadiers, but I didn't have enough to run, or I didn't have the proper models to run the list that I had planned. So what I ended up doing is just cobbling together a reluctant trained Volks Grenadier list, and obviously reluctant trained is probably not everyone's first choice when talking about running lists. Certainly I was not expecting anything huge out of a reluctant trained list, but surprisingly the list played very well. It has a lot of stuff in it which can be difficult to deal with, even though they are trained. It just there's things in there that you need to deal with, especially when you have to defend. And if you know anything about the list, obviously defending Volks Grenadiers are really tough because of the amount of Panzerfaust that they have in there. And so I was pretty confident with playing the list. I wasn't sure what kind of results to expect with it. In my first game, I played against what did I play? I played against a Canadian infantry company, and it was an encounter. I rolled off to be the attacker, although in that mission it's really a fair fight, so there's not really guarantee that you're going to have to do anything as the attacker, the pseudo attacker. We played on a table with a river right down the middle, so it was really not conducive to too much movement. End result of that one was a 2-1 draw for myself. I was running 10 platoons in that list. I conf grouped my army to make 10. That way I could start with 5 and 50-50 missions. And I ran a really weird combination of things. I used Sturm Tigers in there, which are awesome, and any excuse to run them is what I'm going to do. I also happened to run 4 infantry platoons. Just like I said, we didn't have a lot of units for the Volks Grenadiers, so I had to kind of use what I could. And so obviously infantry is a little bit more readily available. So I ran 4 infantry platoons, 3 basically. Well, I ran one of the assault rifle platoons and 2 regular grenadier platoons, more or less, all Panzerfaust obviously, and then I ran a pioneer platoon. So I had boatloads of infantry, which really proved to be useful in one of the games. And then I ran 2 Sturm Tigers. I ran 4 Pak 37s, which are basically AT-9 smoke machines, and I ran what did I run? 3 Hetzers. I ran air, and I ran what else? So Sturm Tigers. I ran Hetzers, 4 infantry platoons, giving me 6 conf group to 7, Pak 50s to 8. 105s to 9, and I ran one other thing. I can't remember what it was. Something else. Oh, I ran Nettlerovers. So that was my 10 platoons. And so like I said, 2-1 draw in the first game, and that was, as expected against an infantry company. So, I mean, obviously, round 1 I was not going to be in the running for the tournament. Normally, but it just so happened that there was numerous draws in the first round, so only one round actually managed a victory in there, so or one sort of pairing managed a victory. So going into round 2, sitting on 2 points, I was basically bottom to mid pack because everyone really had around 2 points. And I ended up drawing U.S. Tank Company, and I felt pretty confident. This was a defensive battle rolled off. We played Pincer. The only disadvantage of playing against the U.S. Tank player was his massive platoon of 6 105s with the breakthrough guns. So obviously priority 1 was to get rid of them. Once I was able to stop that platoon, I was able to distract his progress with an ambush, and then after that I was able just basically to hold on for victory in the end. Just not enough time to claim the objective for him, and so it was a 4-3 victory for me. So that was nice because it sort of vaulted me up in points, and gave me fairly good positioning for the last round. The last round was a couple guys were still ahead of me, and they ended up playing each other, obviously, the top 2 point getters. So going into the last round, it was a mobile battle, and I was really hoping to get to defend in the mobile battle because, I mean, obviously the Volksgrenadiers sort of excel at defending, even though they are reluctant trained. If you don't have to make them get up and go, you're not worried too much about getting pinned in assaults and all that good stuff with the reluctant being 5 up to basically unpin yourself. But as luck would have it, I actually played against a U.S. infantry company in the last round, and we rolled off, and he rolled first, and he rolled a 5, and I was like, great, he'll be the attacker, I'm going to roll under a 5, and of course I rolled a 6 to become the attacker, and so I had to attack his list, and that was kind of a shot in the arm to start it. But the 6s that I rolled at the start of the game to start off were foreshadowing of what I was going to roll, because I'm not really sure I rolled too many dice that weren't 5s and 6s in that game. And despite having to attack for the second time out of 3 games, I was able to basically jam 4 platoons down my opponent's throat. He really had no choice but to split up and cover the second objective, because it was breakthrough or counterattack, I believe. Sorry. And so he had to kind of split his force, and I caught him in the open with the force that was moving, and sort of wedged my other troops in between his moving ones and his stationary units. He had a lot of guns, and I was able to really take advantage of assaulting them because they were just mortar platoons, and they weren't able to sustain all the fire and the suppressing machine gun fire I put on his platoons. So I was able to run in, claim the objectives, both of them simultaneously almost, and he tried to counter a few times, but just was unable to get in there, or unable to get through my defensive fire. So I ended up getting a 6-1 in that one, and actually ended up winning the tournament by 1 point end result. So it really opened my eyes. It was the first time I played the reluctant train version of the Volks. It was only the 3rd time I played the Volksgrenadiers. And what started off as kind of something I wanted to try really ended up shaping, I think, what the list I'm going to bring to the ETC. So I think I might actually stick with the reluctant trained Volksgrenadiers. I might come to my senses later on, but I think the list has a lot of potential, and I think I'm going to end up using that at the ETC. So I'll do another video on the actual list that I'm thinking about taking, but that's kind of the redux for the tournament. I do have a few pictures, but I'll have to figure out how to put them into the videos because I'm not very good at any of the video stuff. So that's the breakdown for the tournament. It was super fun. My friend Jace, he was able to bring out a table that he made. He said he watched a lot of the videos that I had put up, and he did a really great job, and he brought out a table for the tournament, so that was kind of cool to see. It was neat to see some of my techniques sort of incorporated into his board, and he did an awesome job. So That's it for now, guys. I'll cut this video off for a long one as is, but I'll put a couple more up and definitely give you guys some update shots of the table. So thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you all later. Cheers.